This is breaking news.
Bombarding them with messages all day long when they should be learning and making friends. So that's what we're working on here today. As I talk about fighting for families, your family's health is everything to me. I was the mom who always made sure that my children got their vaccinations on time. Even as an adult, making sure that everyone I knew in my families could ensure that they knew how important it was to get the COVID shots over the last 5 years and how life-saving they are. When you think about the fact that the state of New York lost nearly 86,000 of our residents to this horrible, horrible illness, and what stopped those numbers from growing exponentially was the fact that we had very much accessible COVID shots, vaccinations, and to hear that the Trump administration is basically ignoring science, ignoring health, and making decisions that are just starting now that will have nothing but a negative effect on our family's health. And so here in New York, I can't sit on the side and let that happen. When they said that they're not going to be requiring COVID shots and other vaccinations for our families, I said, no, here in New York, we'll make those parents have the option. If you want your child to have a COVID shot, it should be available to you, and it should be covered by insurance. And that's something that's really important to me. So what I'm doing now is signing a executive order, because extreme times call for extreme measures, and this is a power I have to use this in the interim until we were able to have the legislature get back together in January and pass legislation that mandates this. So what I have here is an executive order to allow pharmacists to be able to administer COVID shots for the next 30 days. We can renew this every 30 days, but when you change state law, you're required to review it every 30 days. And we're going to continue developing a long-term plan to fight these reckless decisions coming out of Washington, because I have no choice. It's not a mandate for families, but I know a lot of families that want to make sure that their kids are healthy when they're exposed to other students in school. And I want to let people know the number of cases, COVID, are on the rise in New York. We have about 600 new cases per day. I have many friends and family I know who are suffering from it right now, but this is the time of year when you'd normally be getting your COVID shot. I plan on getting mine very shortly. But to have the federal government say that only people over the age of 65, and they don't even recommend it for expectant mothers anymore, and not cover children and family members, I don't understand that. I don't understand why you won't let families have the choice to protect their children's health. That's what this is about. And so I'm prepared to sign this now, let everyone know how seriously we are taking this, an executive order declaring a disaster in the state of New York due to federal actions related to vaccine access. And this explains the laws that we need to modify for now. And I'm looking forward to signing this as we stand here, because I want to get this on the books and make sure that the status quo, as it existed before the federal government decided to ignore the health needs of our families before they took these steps, that the status quo remains in the state of New York. So you can go into a pharmacy, not have to worry about going to a doctor's office and getting a prescription, which is another step that I think a lot of people just don't have time in their busy lives to handle. They can go into a pharmacy as they're accustomed to doing, and the pharmacist will now, as a result of this signing, be authorized to administer COVID shots to those who choose to have them. The order is signed and now in effect. And with that, I will make this official, get this to the right people. Happy to take any on topics right now.
We're going to start with on topics. First, we got Zach Nash from Schreiber News Network.
Hi, Governor Hochul. My name is Zach Nash, and I'm a senior at Schreiber High School here in Port Washington. I'm here on behalf of Schreiber News Network, which is the media team at our school. And I know that there are issues in New York State and across the country with an increase in childhood obesity and linked processed foods. How do you think that this program could help with those issues?
What we're doing is making sure that children have access to food, number one. One of the drivers of childhood obesity, which I am deeply concerned about, because this has lifelong impacts on their overall health. We need our kids to start out healthy. They have physical education, they have exercise. We want them to build in just a routine of understanding how important it is, but it's also the nutrition. So when children do not have access to breakfast or lunch for free, as we're now starting to provide across the state, they're more apt to snack on unhealthy foods. And you never hear a snack of being healthy in most situations. Kids are used to grabbing something that just fills their stomach to keep them going again. I want our children to have their stomachs full from breakfast to lunch and beyond, and I think that'll go a long way. This policy will go a long way toward abating that really is a crisis of childhood obesity. But thank you for your attention to the issue.
Thanks, guys. On topic, CBS?
Are you considering the executive order on topic? Or?
Yep.
If we have a school question,
You
we'll
wanna
start
do
topic, and
Oh,
anything
okay.
else we'll
School
just
first.
use our friends.
Sorry. Any other school-related questions? Dennis?
Good. Hi, Dennis.
Do you feel like the elementary kids were asking harder questions in the meetings?
Now, they were tough. Yeah, they're asking you to choose basically your favorite child. My favorite sports teams. So no, they were adorable. So it was. I think I was prepared for them because of my years of having to go before the New York State Press Corps. But they were tough. They were tough.
They're actually pretty smart. They do a lot of
They're very smart. They were smart kids. I could have sat there all day and had serious conversations. And when they came and gathered around me afterward, they looked at me like they didn't want me to leave anytime soon. I love little kids. I just gravitate to them. Walking down the street, I'm more apt to say hi to your little baby than anybody else on the streets, as I'm taking my strolls every day. So, but I know it was fun.
Any other school-related questions?